Hey guys, it's Michael Edward with your trading group, and with today's trade action with this video, I want to talk about the importance of patience and discipline because coming into today, being Columbus Day, it's a holiday, we expected a little bit of a slower day and a little bit of less liquidity. So right away, less liquidity, what does that mean? We expected less follow through today. And we spoke about that in our pre-market chat and our pre-market game plan and our discussion um, about the kind of the attitude of the day and not to expect these big long follow through extension continuation moves like we got last week. Last week was a huge week. It was in like every stock that we bought gave us that extension follow through. And coming into today, we just said to kind of be wary of that I did not expect that type of action again today, being the holiday. Not to say that that won't go back to the kind of bullish market and that type of action tomorrow, but with the holiday today, we spoke about that. So we took things very nice and easy. And the trades that were made today, I made a trade in ALT that I'm going to get to in a second. But it was all about patience. And there was about an hour there during the trade that I really felt that the trade wasn't going to work out, but I still stuck to my game plan on the trade and I stuck to my rules and I was patient and I ended up paying off. And I'm going to get right to it. This ALT, take a look at the chart right here, guys. Let me zoom in. What I saw on this ALT, they came out with news. They had a price target, like $6. The stock was trading at 225 on Friday, and so stock gaps up on that news, a little bit of volume, and then you get this initial morning high gets put in right here. Here's your initial morning high. Okay, stock pulls in, and then pop, you get that break of the new high on an increase in volume. So right there, the stock was on my screen, okay, on my watch list, on my radar. Once it popped through that initial morning high on the increase in volume, you guys know what I look for. I look for that initial morning high to now act as support. Once the stock pulled in and held this area right here, and then puts this green candle in and starts to push higher, I got long. Okay, I called out a buy alert right here, okay, in this ALT. I'll show you from the chart. Okay, at 9:56 a.m., long ALT 263 with a stop loss of 250. Okay, so here it is at 263 at 9:56, I believe it was 9:56 a.m. Okay, so right here was my long entry. Then you see the stock pushes, actually makes a new high, but then pulls itself in. Right when the stock pulled itself in right here, and I saw a bunch of other stocks that we were looking at from pre-market start to kind of fade away, I said, yep, guys, this is exactly the kind of day that I expected without getting that follow through. ANY was another, because this is at the time when ANY was failing this this breakout. So you see ANY gapped up, had a real strong run, actually started to put in like a bull flag pattern here. And then you see the breakout on a heavy increase in volume, but then the stock just fades away and just pulls in and pulls this whole move in and then just trades lower all throughout the day. So you had that happening. You had CLNT was actually at this point in time was pulling in right here. So I was like, okay, so that's pulling in, and why was pulling in. The CLSN actually was running at that time, and this is something that I want to get into a little bit later in this video because this is a swing trade that I want to talk about, but I'm going to get into that a little bit later. So going back to this ALT, right here is where I started to say, okay, we're not going to get that follow through, and you're using that stop loss as for this support area, okay? The initial morning high now acting as support. Here we are long from 263, okay? You can see here it holds again, okay? Then the stock bounces off that level and then pulls in, but it holds again. Stock starts to try and make its move. Volume is really drawing out at this point, guys. And I said, guys, the stock's going to need volume to really go. And then you see the stock pulls back in again. And right here is when I started to get pretty pessimistic and negative on the trade. And I said, guys, I'm still long. I was talking about it in chat. People were asking me, Mike, are you still using 250? Are you still in it? What do you think? And I said, yeah, I'm less confident in the trade right now, but it's still holding that support level. So I had no reason to exit the trade. My stop loss was never triggered. I was just being patient with the trade. And then fast forward towards the end of the day at 2:30, you see volume starts coming in. Okay, look at this volume increase, and the stock just took off, really out of nowhere. And this was all about patience. I was in this trade all day. Okay, although the stock didn't look good at noon, okay, 12:30, 1 o'clock, it just didn't look good. I didn't think the stock was trading hardly any volume, but it was still holding above my support level. So I didn't have a reason to bail on the trade yet, although it didn't look great. But I stuck to my rules and my game plan with the trade, and my patience paid off as I sold at 290, and I sold at 305, and then I sold at 278. Here, I'll show you. Okay, taking some profit ALT at 290 for 10% gain, and then at 244, taking more profit 305 for a plus 16% gain, and then at 253, my final take profit 278 after the stock had ended up pulling in. And I actually sold the bulk of my position there. I sold about 55% of what I was holding up there at 305, and it's because we identified on the daily chart this resistance level at $3. And especially on a day when I'm saying, guys, I don't expect follow through, I'm not going to all of a sudden look for follow through in this stock just because I'm long the trade and I'm going to get biased and think that this is the only stock that I'm seeing that's going to really give me that follow through extension move. No, of course not. I'm going to take my profits. I'm going to be prudent because I don't think we're going to get that big push. So here's the resistance level that I identified earlier in the day at $3. When you see your previous support right here, and then you see once it was broken to the downside, it became resistance. Okay, stock's not able to get back above $3. So when this trade triggered in the afternoon and it spiked through $3, that's why I sold at 290. I sold my first piece at 290 just in case $3 held as resistance. And then as soon as I got that spike right through $3, guys, I threw stock out there and I got filled and took my profits on the trade, very happy on a day where there really wasn't much action, at least that I was seeing. You know, we had HMNY, which went crazy today on a short squeeze. The stock's just going, but that's really an outlier because it's a momentum-based short squeeze. And it was not a stock that I was trading today. I wasn't looking for follow through because the other stocks that I was looking at in the morning weren't giving it to me. So I was quick to take my profits on this ALT. And it's important to notice the environment that a trading day is showing you. When you have a day when stocks that are gapping up, all of them are kind of fading the gap, they're pulling in, you're not seeing a follow through continuation move. You're just seeing a breakout. So last week we got a breakout, consolidation, and a continuation follow through. This week, today, all we got were breakouts. We didn't get the continuation. Okay. And that's why I was quick to take my profits on this ALT once the trade ignited, because right in here, guys, I didn't think I had a profitable trade on my hands, just to be honest. I mean, the trade didn't look good at this point in the day. So then for all of a sudden, this volume to come in, the stock to shoot up, I was happy to take my profits and run, okay? And that's really what I want to take away from today, because you can see very quickly, boom, thing pulls all the way back in and takes all that profit right away from you. RPRX, okay? I got long RPRX in the afternoon here. I'll show you at 2:21 p.m. at 74.5 cents. I was using a stop loss of 69.5. Okay, and it's because I identified this trend line. Okay, you see this trend line holding support all day long. Every time it touched that trend line, it bounced off of it. Okay, so I got long once it held this trend line right here for the fourth time. I got long right here. Okay, we'll go back. 221 at 74.5 cents. 221 right here, this candle actually. Okay, that's when I got long. And then very quickly you saw the stock spike up. You saw an increase in volume. So I said, oh wow, I literally bought this right at the perfect time because I bought it and within less than 10 minutes the stock was making a move. So I felt pretty good on the trade. And then we talked about the 200-day moving average. which was 78 cents. Okay, and I said, guys, I really want to see the stock hold above 78 cents and show me that it's above the 200-day, and it couldn't until it spiked above it, pulled back in, spiked above it, pulled back in, spiked above it, pulls back in. At this point in the game, right here, is when I started to say, you know what, guys, I'm going to take some profit off the table here. You can see here, taking some profit at 81 cents for a 9% gain at 309. Okay, 309 is right here. This candle right there is where I took profit at 81 cents. And it was just because I wasn't seeing follow through today. And then I said I was moving my stop loss up right here at 326. I said I'm moving my stop loss up from 695 to 745, so I'll break even on the last chunk of my position, having already taken profit at 81 cents. And I moved my stop loss up, and that was really this where the trend line was going to be, and that was also my entry. So that's why I chose that price. And when the stock spiked down below, I got stopped out. Okay, so I made 9% on a piece of my position, and the rest I really broke even or lost, less than 0.5% on. So today was really all about patience and discipline. And what I want to, I tell people about sitting on your hands when you don't see it, and when you have a slow day. And somebody in chat had made a comment about, oh, well, I feel like I wasted the day, or it was a waste of a day. And I don't want anyone to ever feel that way, because just because you're sitting on your hands and you're not trading doesn't mean it was a waste of a day, because you learned something. And if you were able to sit on your hands throughout the day, it means you're becoming disciplined as a trader. And once you become disciplined as a trader, that will roll over into different aspects of your trading. It'll roll into your stop losses. It'll roll into your taking profit. It'll roll into your entries and your exits. Okay, it'll roll into your setup selection and picking high percentage setups and not chasing things with higher risk. Okay, when you become disciplined, and sitting on your hands throughout the day is a hard thing to do, because as traders we want to trade. It's like a hitter in baseball. When you get up to the plate, it's hard to take 4 balls to walk, because you want to swing the bat. So you want to swing at the pitch as it comes in, but if it's not a strike, you don't swing at it, because it's not. You have a lower percentage chance of making solid contact if it's not in the strike zone. Same thing with trading. If it's not a premier setup, you have a lower percentage chance of making a profitable trade. So it's just like a hitter needs to be disciplined at the plate and only swing at strikes. As a trader, you need to be disciplined in the market and only go after high percentage setups when the environment and the atmosphere is right for it. So when it comes to sitting on your hands and not trading, don't look at it like it was a waste of a day. Look at it like you're growing as a trader because you were disciplined enough to not trade and not force things when they weren't there. And you could have ended up saving yourself money by chasing poor setups or buying a stock that ends up failing, like ANY. Imagine if you bought this bull flag breakout. Okay, let's say you bought this right here in the flag, and then you bought more as it broke out of the flag, and very quickly, bang! Now you're down on the trade. You just lost money. Now you hold on to it and you get stopped out down here. Okay, so sitting on your hands is not a waste of a day. It's capital preservation. It's becoming disciplined. And it's learning from what is in front of you. And it's being able to identify when there's no momentum in a market and when you're not going to get follow through and when you should be quick and take your profits. And that's what I want you guys to take away from today's action. So I'm happy that I was able to make profit on this ALT. I was able to pull 16% out on the majority of my position up here at 305, 290, and then again 278. I was in from 263. So it was a nice little trade for me. RPRX, I made a little bit of money. It wasn't a home run trade by any stretch of the imagination, but I made a little bit of money. So I'm happy with it on a day when I expected there to be not as much follow through with the holiday, and it worked out. And we still had a green day, and it was a good start to the week, coming off of a monster week last week where we got tons of continuation and follow through. We were disciplined today, we were patient today, and it paid off. So congrats on a good day, guys. Learn from the day, because sometimes the slower days are the hardest days and where you can learn the most. So don't let slow days become your biggest losers on days that you're the most active when you should be sitting on your hands. So I'll see you guys in chat tomorrow.